Hello BookTube. So it's Friday, time for another Friday Reads video. I was sitting at home today. Today's my day off, and it actually felt more like a Saturday. I almost forgot it was Friday and that, I'm supposed to do a video here. So this is going to be fairly quick. I haven't really read a whole lot today at all, although the last day I had off, I think I just did nothing but read, which is really great. It just felt so relaxing. And today I've just been kind of sitting around watching TV and tuned into Endeavor. I don't know if any of you have ever watched Endeavor. It's a prequel to the Inspector Morse series, which I absolutely love. And if you've never read Inspector Morse by Colin Dexter, I highly recommend it. Really, really great mysteries. The TV show is fantastic. And Endeavor, like I said, is a prequel. It's how Inspector Morse kind of started in the police force and then became a detective. So very, very well done. I don't know why I've never watched them all this time. And there's also a spin-off that came after Inspector Morse, another one. There's actually two, obviously. The Endeavor's one of them. The other one was Inspector Lewis. Also, I never really watched the whole series of that, so I'll have to track that down sometime. I really liked Inspector Lewis. He was the sergeant to Inspector Morse, and just overall a really, really great character, so I don't know why I never watched those either. So I'm kind of like making up for lost time. So I watched a whole bunch of those episodes today, and hopefully I'll get a little bit of reading done tonight. But anyway, to talk about what I've been reading. Okay, now if you've been following me, you know this past couple of weeks I've been listening to the Flight of the Javelin series by Rachel Akis. I talked about Black Sheep already. That was book 1. Free Station, I just finished. That was book 2 in the series. Really, really good. And I've already moved on. I'm about halfway through the third and final book, Rogue Planet, where we start to learn more about the Javelin and this mysterious ship that's kind of been following them, and that had a really, really cool twist. You see a little black hole there at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, something happens with the Javelin and a black hole. So really, really great, like I said, great series. Love the characters. And I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with this other mysterious ship. So I'm still listening to that. I haven't planned yet what my next audiobook will be. I'll let you know when I do find out. The Roaming by W.J. Hegarty was the book I was reading on my Kindle. This is the first in the Roaming series. There's also, I just lost the picture. Book 2, Book 2 is called The Toll. And then book 3 is Haven's Promise. But I'm going to hold off on starting those yet. When I downloaded The Roaming as a Kindle book, that's actually only 99 cents. So if you're interested in reading it, it's really cheap. And the other two are like $3 a piece. So not a very expensive trilogy. If you're into zombie apocalypse series, it's pretty decent. It's got a lot of the typical tropes that you're going to get. You're going to get your horde of zombies. You're going to get your main characters that you're rooting for. You're going to get the kind of, what do you say, the people that are only out for themselves, kind of the badder characters. That's kind of pretty typical in most stories. This is whether you're going to like the plot line or the characters enough to kind of follow them. There are a few characters in there that I'm interested enough to see what's going to happen to them. I wouldn't say I overall felt a lot of connection with them. Some I didn't really feel like could have been developed a little bit more, but other than that, it was still pretty interesting. It takes place in a small town called Pepperbush, and a horde of zombies is kind of heading their way, inadvertently led there by some army personnel that were trying to defend Philadelphia. And then when Philadelphia fell and they ran for their lives, the horde kind of followed. So like they kind of pulled them along, unfortunately, into the path of this small town. So like I said, I just finished that one. It was pretty interesting, but I kind of needed a little break from the zombies for a little bit. Instead, I picked up a book just recently at work by another author that I really enjoy, Jeremy Bates. He writes a whole bunch of horror books that I've mentioned before on this channel. And I picked up Mountain of the Dead. This one's really fascinating. This is part of his World's Scariest Places. It's volume 5 in that series. One of the books in that series was The Catacombs, which takes place in Paris. There's also Suicide Forest, that was in the Aokigahara Forest. An Island of the Dolls. All those are like actual places that he's kind of taken a real area and then kind of twisted it a little bit and turned it into a horror story. This one takes place in the Ural Mountains of Russia, and it has 2 timelines. One takes place in 1959 and one takes place in present time. And what happened in February of 1959 is there were 9 Russian hikers that were found dead on the mountain, and forgot what the peak was called. But anyway, very mysterious circumstances regarding their death. It seems like for some reason they left their tent in quite a hurry, slit the tent open from the inside, ran out. And this is like in Siberia, so it's super cold, and they ran out barely clothed, some with no shoes. 6 of the hikers died from hypothermia, and the other 3 from very severe injuries and very strange injuries. Injuries to their skull, crushed bones, rib cage. One was missing their eyes, their eyebrows, tongue. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories as to what happened. Is it a military experiment or something that was taking place? There was reports of strange orange lights in the sky. Was it something paranormal? Was it an avalanche? Was it was there some kind of beast on the mountain? It's very fascinating. I'm going to go ahead and put a link down below to a YouTube documentary I recently watched about this. This incident is referred to as the Dyatlov Pass Incident. You can find lots of videos, like I said, on YouTube all about this, but I think this one is done very well. And I did put a trigger warning in there that you will see photos from the actual bodies that are discovered, and it's a bit gruesome to see the injuries that some of the bodies succumb to. But they're also apparently included, I think there's a lot of photos within the pages of the book too, and these little kind of photos here. These are taken from the cameras that the climbers brought along with them. They were very experienced climbers. They were level 2 climbers. They were going for their level 3 certification or something like that when all this mysterious thing happened. And to this day, it's never really been, I think, solved to everyone's satisfaction. The government kind of like closed the files and stuff in a rather hurry, didn't want anybody talking about things. So that always kind of triggers a conspiracy kind of thing. But it's a very fascinating subject, and I'm curious to see what he's going to do with this. The way it's written is alternating chapters. So you have an American writer and his friend and a group of other people that joined him on an expedition to kind of retrace the steps of these climbers and to kind of uncover any other details to find out what happened and to eventually write a book about this. And then the other chapters are the events that took place back in 1959, and you're kind of following along with those actual climbers. So I'm sure something gruesomely horrific is going to be revealed somewhere along the lines, and I'm just curious to see what he comes up with. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm on chapter 13. But yeah, check out the YouTube video link down below. You'll find this very, very fascinating. There's also Wikipedia. You could look up Dyatlov Pass on there and find out all the various facts and things that were discovered, and it's just really, really interesting. So anyway, that's what I'm doing so far, just reading that one and listening to Rachel Alkus's book, and eventually I'll go back to that other trilogy after I finish this one. So hope you guys are reading something really good, and let me know down below. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.